To achieve a slightly noisier dust look, I'm going to use the particle shaper preset compound to drive the density of the particle renderer. If I expand the attributes for the particle renderer, I'm going to open up the density drop-down menu and input a shaper node or a shaper compound into the density shape. Again, under the render tree particles folder, I'm going to pull in a particle shaper compound and use the density output to drive the density shape. So if we connect in, I'll draw a render tree. And once again, we start to see that by introducing different compounds, we actually remove some of the volume effect from the volume shader. If I double click on the particle shaper, I can add volume back into the particles by using a combination of the intensity sliders on the irregular shape, cell shape, and fractal shape. If we actually examine the particle shaper compound, I'll just go full size here for a moment and get rid of my preset menu. You can see that the shaper node is really just a combination of a fractal and cellular, a cell shader node plugged into a multimath. They're essentially just being multiplied together. And of course, they're driven by expose inputs from the compound builder. So double-clicking on the particle shaper compound, I'll take the irregular shape, which is sort of like an overall control for both the cell and fractal effect being multiplied together. I'll start by lowering the overall intensity. And by lowering the intensity, we start to add a little bit of volume back into the particles. You can also take the cell shape and lower its intensity, and just kind of achieve a balance between the two. Same thing with the fractal shape. And at the same time, I also want to increase the number of particles in this overall effect. I'm getting a lot of gaps between the particles, so I might need to go back to the ice tree and add in a number of extra particles. So if I jump back to frame 0 for a moment, I'm going to double click on my splash compound and raise the rate to 40,000 particles. From here, we'll play through the timeline and go back into our material manager and adjust our particle shaper compound.